It is a fundamental principle of federal procurement law that procuring agencies must condition the award of a contract upon a finding that the contract contains fair and reasonable prices. The purpose of a price reasonableness analysis is to prevent the government from paying too high a price for a contract. An agency may use various price analysis techniques and procedures to ensure a fair and reasonable price, including the comparison of proposed prices to each other, to prices found reasonable on previous purchases, or to an independent government estimate. The manner and depth of an agency's price analysis is a matter committed to the discretion of the agency, which we will not disturb provided that it is reasonable and consistent with the solicitation's evaluation criteria and applicable procurement statutes and regulations. Here, the RFP provided that the agency would evaluate offerors' prices using one or more of the techniques set forth in FAR Section 15.404 in order to determine whether prices were reasonable and complete. More specifically, as DISA acknowledges, the RFP stated that the agency would evaluate the offeror's fully burdened fixed-price labor rates for reasonableness and that unreasonably high prices may be grounds for eliminating a proposal from competition. Although the RFP did not stipulate the specific price analysis technique the agency intended to use, the RFP indicated that the agency anticipated conditions of adequate competition. Indeed, in response to the protest, DISA confirms that it used the price analysis technique set forth in FAR Section 15.404 because it obtained adequate price competition. Section 15.404 of the FAR permits the government to ensure fair and reasonable prices through comparison of proposed prices received in response to the solicitation. Normally, adequate price competition establishes a fair and reasonable price. Here, however, despite DISA's representation that it relied upon FAR Section 15.404, there is no evidence in the record that the agency compared competitors' prices or acted upon that comparison. Rather, the record shows that the PEB evaluated each offeror's price proposal to ensure that it was complete. Next, the PEB evaluated proposals to identify any potential unbalanced pricing. Finally, the PEB considered whether proposed prices were reasonable, concluding that every offeror's total evaluated price was fair and reasonable. The PEB's entire price reasonableness analysis is set forth in 2 sentences. Price reasonableness is normally established by adequate competition. As this effort has had 35 offers provide proposals, it is implicit that price reasonableness has been determined at the macro level. The PEB did not compare offerors' total proposed prices or their fully burdened fixed-price labor rates. Likewise, the contracting officer did not compare any prices at any level. Instead, in the pricing memorandum, the contracting officer stated that the presumption is that all proposed prices are fair and reasonable if there is adequate competition. We find the agency's conclusions to be unreasonable. The mere receipt of multiple proposals is inadequate to assure that the prices proposed are fair and reasonable. Put another way, the presence of competition alone does not render prices per se reasonable. To conclude that prices are fair and reasonable without the comparison of prices to one another is illogical and inconsistent with the requirements of FAR Section 15.404. As the plain language of this section indicates, a price reasonableness determination relying upon this price analysis technique requires a comparison of proposed prices received in response to the solicitation. There is no indication in the record that DISA, in fact, performed such a comparison. Because the agency failed to compare offers' prices, the agency did not consider whether any of the proposed prices were unreasonably high, an analysis that the RFP expressly contemplated. In this regard, while FAR Section 15.404 suggests that an agency may conclude an awardee's price is reasonable if it is consistent with prices received from competitors, the FAR in no way suggests that the same result if an awardee's price is inconsistent with competitors' prices. Contrary to DISA's position, FAR Section 15.404 does not provide that the existence of competition, in and of itself, is sufficient to establish that all competitors' prices are reasonable. Rather, It is the favorable comparison of an awardee's price to its competitors' prices that provides the necessary assurance that a proposed price is fair and reasonable. Furthermore, the agency's conclusion at price comparison establishes price reasonableness must be rational. GAO has sustained challenges to price analysis where there is no indication that the agency ever reviewed the results of the formula to assure that the prices at the extreme end of the range reflected reasonable pricing. Rather, the agency mechanistically applied the formula and accepted the results without further analysis. Here, the record reflects a wide variance among total evaluated prices and labor rates. For instance, the highest-priced offeror proposed a total price that was more than 2.5 times higher than the price of the lowest-priced offeror. The proposed total evaluated prices of the awardees contain a similarly wide variance, with the highest-priced awardee proposing a price that is more than double the price of the lowest-priced awardee. While this disparity does not establish that any particular offeror's prices are unreasonably high per se, it did not preclude a conclusion that the reasonableness of the higher-priced offeror's prices could not be established via comparison to their competitors' prices. In our view, the disparity should have placed DISA on notice that it needed to take a closer look at what was driving the higher prices. As a final matter, intervenor Vencor points out that the agency ranked the 35 offers from lowest to highest based on their total proposed prices and argues that this alone satisfies the agency's obligation to assess reasonableness. We disagree. As an initial matter, although the depth of an agency's price analysis is a matter within the sound exercise of the agency's discretion, it must be consistent with the solicitation's evaluation criteria. Here, the RFP stated that the agency would evaluate offers fully burdened fixed-price labor rates using one of the techniques in FAR Section 15.404. Moreover, we do not find that a mere ranking of offers' prices from lowest to highest satisfies the requirement of FAR Section 15.404 to compare proposed prices. Rather, it is our view that the analysis technique set forth in FAR Section 15.404 contemplates a comparison of prices proposed by competitors in order to determine whether they are relatively consistent and in line with one another.